The Gridiron is sponsored by Rothman Orthopedic.
Welcome to this week's edition of The Gridiron. I'm your host, John Brown, with the head coach, Chad Brubaker. Springford opened up packed play with the defeat of PV 27-13. Coach, congratulations to you and the guys on an outstanding effort. I'm sure on a opening night you'll remember for a lot of years here too.
That's a good point. It was so weird being in a game like that, of that magnitude, and just it was almost like a JV game in some ways. And so that's a little odd, like the magnitude versus the atmosphere, didn't align. And it was just good to be back on the field. We kept talking about that, prior to the game. We made it there, and a lot of people did their part to get us there. Parents, kids, our coaching staff, administration, our school board, everybody did their part, which was, from our perspective, really, really important.
So we talked about reinventing ourselves a little bit last week, and I'm sure the people out there saw that this team it's a run team this year. We're trying to establish the run. It was almost like in the past, like we were establishing some pass to hit them with the runs a little bit, but this seems to be a run-oriented team, and that's where you talked about having experience. Not saying you didn't throw the ball. I'm not saying you're not going to throw the ball throughout the year, but it seemed like that was the game plan from the beginning. We're going to try and win the line of scrimmage and run the ball.
Well, over the past few years, we've tried to, combat PV with the run game.
Yep.
That's a lot easier when you feel really good about your tight ends, which we do. And so, Harry Adiefe had 34 carries. Now, I don't think there's been a time in my 11 years where there's been a running back with over 25.
Yeah, 25 might even be high.
Now, part of that was, there was.
Okay, you went back and checked it out.
Yeah, way back.
Okay, all right.
But Andrew Yoon was hurt this past week, or he would have gotten half of those carries.
Yep.
And it was just game one, so we have some other guys, but we were kind of like, game one, let's come out of the gate here.
Go with the guys you know.
And yeah, so there was that combination kind of created that. And I didn't really think Harry had that many carries, but I guess it just added up throughout the game.
Those people watching out there, they think they're watching the Springford Rams of the 1990s, where they would just kind of run. Maybe sprinkle in a little screens, pass or whatever. But once again, another strength of this team you talked about last week in the preview was your offensive line and the experience you have back right there. And I'm sure that was like a challenge. You said, all right, your guys coming back. Let's go win the line of scrimmage. Let's run the ball here tonight.
Yeah, we were pretty physical up front. Josh Hellauer and pretty much every single guy at some point, had kind of a pancake type situation. But we needed to play. Obviously game one, and you didn't have the same off season. We expected to be there to be some mental errors, and there certainly was. But we liked our physicality. Josh Hellauer was somebody that really stood out as far as physicality. Put a couple guys, on their backs, and that's kind of where we needed to be at this point in the season. With the inexperience at quarterback, we just need Ryan to do what we asked him to do, which he certainly did.
Game at this stage, be your game manager out there. Get yourself in the right situations, run the right plays. Like when it's need for you to make a play, make a play.
And it's still at the end of the game, we afterwards and watching film, now we're asking him to do more because as the game wore on, they weren't accounting for him, and he needs to be accounted for. So he needs to do a better job. And we talked about this, and we talked about a bunch of things. We came out of that game, and I don't know if you saw the big ticket on Friday night, but
I missed the big ticket, but I was watching the streaming service that Springford was providing,
which was an excellent stream.
And there was a lot of tweeting about, like, you're getting like constant tweet updates from a lot of people in the game too.
Yeah. So Donnie Nicolene got interviewed after the game, and he said some things that we needed to pull back on a little bit because we're far from
Yeah.
the best team in the pack.
Sure. Played
which
one
he-
game.
Which he said we played one game, and there were a couple other guys that had some tweets about how good they were, and we're pulling back on that as coaches because, guys, when you watch the film, and I always say this every year, when you watch the film, you're not as good as you think you were, and you're oftentimes not as bad as you thought you were in certain situations. So we had to pull back on that a little bit, guys feeling themselves a little bit, and we'll go from there. So I think that's really important to consider. We're not where we want to be anywhere near.
Yeah, long way to go,
Yeah,
right.
long way to go.
All right, Coach, with all that being said, I'm sure we got some offensive highlights here from the game with Park Valley.
Gridiron highlights are sponsored by Heaps Landscaping.
This
So
is
this
your
was-
fourth down play, right? You're going
Yeah,
for it
this was
early.
fourth down, and man, the first 3 plays were really poor. And we just need to do a better job. This one wasn't great, but we did a better job with our blocking assignments, and we snuck in the end zone. But our first 3 were really, really poor, and that's got to be corrected. I mean, we practiced a lot on goal line in the first 3 weeks of our practice, and I don't know, for whatever reason, wasn't real good. Here was a great job. PV gave a couple different looks. They caught us in our pass protection here. They caught us off guard a little bit. We did not block this correctly, obviously, but to their credit, they did something a little bit different. And to Ryan's credit, he got out of the way of the rush and made
Made
that
a play for you guys, yeah.
One thing that we did do with Andrew Yoon out is we put a couple plays in for Nick Teets at running back, and he looks like a natural. You would think that he's been doing this for his whole life. We didn't block that particularly well either, and a lot of that we give credit to Nick for scoring there.
This is where you're talking about that he has an opportunity to keep the ball to your quarterback.
Right, and you look at the run and you say, okay, great run. We got 40 yards, but he's got to keep. You're right. He's got to keep 71 honest. I'm impressed that you picked up on that.
Look at me.
I mean, if he pulls it, he might run 40 yards, and so it's important for that backside defensive end and the backside of the defense to respect that.
It's only taken me 11 years to figure it out, Coach. It's all right.
And here's Nick Teets. We put some Wildcat stuff in.
Yeah, I like this look too. Wild Ram, essentially, right?
Well, I guess.
Yeah, okay. You don't want to use the other.
Yeah,
another team in
Wild
the
Rams, I guess. But so right here we had a little package, and we get into the end zone, and
Didn't particularly execute it, but Nick is such a hard runner, and he's a low runner. He's put on at least 20 pounds, in my view, since last year, and gotten a lot stronger. So he's a tough person to handle, and we want to take advantage of that.
All right, Coach, good stuff right there. And we obviously haven't talked any defense here, but boy, they came up big for you guys in the game too. But they got to stay through the commercial break, all right?
Sure.
All right, make sure you stay tuned to the commercial break, and we'll talk about the defense from the Springford Perkiomen Valley game.
Home fire drills give your family a plan of action. In a home fire, you may have less than 2 minutes to get out. So when you drill, show everyone 2 ways out of the house, pick a safe meeting spot, and get there in under 2 minutes. Then practice home fire drills at least twice a year. You can even make them fun. So everyone knows the sound and exactly what to do when they hear a smoke alarm. Go to ready.gov/fire drill and learn how to prepare your family for home fires.
Hey! There are amazing things to discover in the forest.
Toothless, time to go! What you picking up on, bud?
It's a whole hidden world of wonders. And the perfect place to spend time with family. What better place to let your imagination soar? Experience nature and create a memory you can share. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest or park near you.
Welcome back to the Gridiron. I'm your host, John Brennan, with the head coach, Chad Brubaker. All right, Coach, before we start talking the defense from the game right here, starting to see some news. You're starting to see other leagues opting back into play. You're seeing some news from teams in the pack that are opting back into play football. I know it's real early, but what's the situation with those teams and your schedule, and where does that leave you guys and those schools? Essentially, what's going on?
Well, it hasn't affected our schedule yet.
Okay.
We were willing to play a couple teams that came back into our league, and I haven't heard anything yet.
This is Tuesday too. We're filming this, Tuesday morning. Yes, sir.
Sure. I'm glad that those teams are back in, but I go back to some of the things that we spoke about last week on the show, and how, the model to me should have been delay. Not cancel and not back in. So I'm glad that they're back in. I'm sure those kids are ecstatic, and the coaching staffs are ecstatic. I just think it could have been, a different model, and I think that model would have been helpful for everybody. But it is what it is at this point, and what are you going to do?
And just so everybody, district as of right now, they're still planning on having a District 1 tournament. Points are still available, and
we're at the top.
Yeah, if we want to know, a couple other schools, right? And it's going to be just an average. Is that how it's going to be when it's all said and done, or to be determined?
It's going to be really interesting, because I don't know how you could compare a team that has 2 wins, theoretically, to a team that has 4 or 5 or 6. So it is interesting that way, because what happens if we would lose a couple games for whatever reason?
Yeah.
So I don't know how that's going to all work. I really don't at this point, and I'm not sure that anybody does. There might be backroom discussions, but I don't know if we really know.
We always have those hard-hitting questions here on the gridiron here. People looking for answers.
Sometimes you can't even answer them. That's how hard it is.
I know. I've put a lot of thought into some of these questions here. All right, so let's get back to the game here. Your defense comes up huge for you here. First half shutout, and they get some late scores to put some points on the board, but really haven't been happy with your defensive effort. And we talked about that PV quarterback and how he's a dangerous weapon for them. You guys really held him and that offense in check.
We did. The late scores, we didn't talk about offensively that we had 2 scores called back for penalties and 1 fumble caused by the turf that was ruled a fumble. So those 3, there could have been 3 more scores.
Gotcha.
So I attribute some of the comeback, so to speak, to the offense needing to do a better job and the defense being on the field too long.
One other thing, too, 2 field goals, too. We always seem to find a new kicker for this program year after year after year. So kudos, you got 2 field goals out of the night, too.
Yeah, out of Alex Nadeau.
Yep.
So he kicked 2 28-yard field goals, which was great. He made all his extra points, which was great.
But back to the defense.
Back to the defense. We had 5 sacks on the night, also a couple hurries. We had an interception. We broke up a number of passes, either through knockdowns or through bang-bang plays. And our secondary, we said from the beginning, there are 2 things that I pointed out: our secondary and also our defensive tackles. And that really came through. DJ Francis had 2 sacks. Donnie Nicoline had 2 sacks. And then our secondary, like I said, had some passes defended. Now, we were missing Andrew Yoon, but Cole Turner came in and played really, really well. So between Naftali Stein, Nick Teets, Nate Capers, and Cole Turner, they did a great job. And then the other thing is, you always, in our opinion, we're a senior-laden program. We want our seniors, we want kids to be in our program, stick with it, and have the opportunity to compete as a senior.
And sometimes they got to wait their turns,
Right.
And that's in all sports. I think kids got to hey, sometimes.
Well, a lot of times parents are as guilty of this as kids. I think is not wanting to wait around and earn something. Mm-hmm. And I think when you see that, there's a change. There's a difference in the leadership style. There's a difference in how kids play. One of the guys that really played well on Friday night was Zach Marinello. He had 8 solo tackles, and last year there were some plays on Friday night that last year Zach wouldn't have made that tackle. And so he's come a long way. He's improved. He understands things better.
Yep.
Angles, pursuit, all that. And then the other 2 linebackers, we moved Mason Brill up to linebacker. He did a nice job, had a couple passes defended. And then Ryan Horvath stepped in to play our Mike linebacker position. And it seemed like he was all over the field.
Good.
So, we really liked our defense coming into the season, but again, you don't necessarily know.
Right? Yeah.
And boy, they really played well.
All right, Coach, good stuff right there. And once again, we love to get those guys that we really haven't heard a lot about, and they found their way into the limelight and did a really good job for you there. Let's check out the defensive highlights from Spring Forward PV.
Gridiron highlights are sponsored by Heaps Landscaping.
So great job here. Had him pinned a little bit. And this was right before the end of the half. And they got a tip ball. And Naftali Stein was Johnny on the spot there. And
Great pressure up
got
front,
the
right in his face,
interception.
too. Look at this.
Yeah, right there. That's Donnie Nicoline, who got a hurry out of that. Just a great job. And that set us up for a field goal. Now, we would have liked to score a touchdown when you get that kind of field position. But here is another play in the first half. Now, if you're going to watch from the end zone,
You see you take away his first and maybe probably his second option. I'm
watch
guessing.
DJ Francis, who was hobbled. We didn't realize how much he was hobbled, but he's still quick enough to get to the quarterback twice. But you did see great pressure down the field. Here is, I think that's Donnie. Watch him get off the ball real quickly here. Boom. We had a little stunt going, and no shot there when he gets to that depth that quickly. So, again, we're not huge up front, but here we are again. This is Donnie again getting to the quarterback. All right, we ran a little stunt here again. You'll see it here in this. Oh, no, we didn't actually on that one. But he just beats the guard there and gets to the quarterback. And then I think this one, there's another sack. I think this one is, nope, it's not a sack.
But then you have that, once again, another staple of this thing is that gang tackling. You see a lot of guys swarming to the ball.
Yeah, and we pressured the quarterback out of the pocket a bunch of times, and that's why we were able to,
He was trying to roll up, make a play. Nothing, just doesn't seem to have anything downfield.
Yeah, and there you go. That was Ryan Horvath who made that play and got a pressure sack. But we had him moving around the pocket when he didn't want to. We were when the ball was coming, receivers were under pressure to catch it right away. We made a couple of bang plays. So we were excited about how our defensive unit played.
And your defense basically has to change gears now this week, heading to Boyertown, and they're going to run that option type of look, and
they do a bunch of different
things. And it's going to make it's a difficult week here, as I've always heard from the defensive staff, and get ready for Boyertown, all right?
Yep.
All right, make sure you stay tuned through this commercial break, and we'll preview the game with Boyertown.
Operation Wonder Park is a go!
There's nothing more powerful than imagination.
Honey, have you seen my cell phone?
But don't just imagine.
My park came to life?
Ooh, a plot twist.
Use STEM to build, create,
She did it.
and change the world.
Who's with me?
I'm more of a 2 feet on the ground kind of guy.
Oh, it's gonna hurt tomorrow.
If she can STEM, so can you. Find out more at She Can STEM.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome back to the Gridiron. I'm your host, John Brown, with the head coach, Chad Brubaker. All right, Coach, before we talk about the game with Boyertown, any announcements? I know we kind of throw in some announcements. You got anything going on? Anything we need to be worried about?
Well, as always, sometimes we thank sponsors here.
Yeah.
Lakeview Cafe is our Red Zone sponsor. We entered the Lakeview Cafe Red Zone a couple times on Friday night. We got some new announcers. They did a great job but we want to sprinkle our sponsors in a little bit more.
Okay.
So I just wanted to put that out there.
All right, so we got some new sponsors for the 2020
As
squad.
far as
Announcement?
announcements, the Boyertown game is going to be live streamed now. That's not going to be what you're used to. If you watch Friday night, it's not going to be the same. They're using a company that just basically, it doesn't zoom or anything. It just follows
shows
the
game.
ball.
Yeah.
So you hear the PA announcer most likely, but it's not. There's not going to be any broadcasters, and my understanding.
And as of right now, once again, the guidelines for the Packers, it's the allotment is for home team. No away parents are making the trip. Just you and the staff and students of Springford are making the trip down
That's
the
it.
Boyertown. Down, up, out the Boyertown?
I would say out. I think that's
Boyertown.
the most
Okay.
accurate.
All right, very good. Make sure we get directions. Mr. Scheck sometimes struggles with directions around here. Got to make sure he knows which way for him to get out to Boyertown. All right, so let's talk about the game with Boyertown here. Let's talk their offense once again. Optional look. You're going to see a little bit of everything, but once again, it's that assignment, I believe, for my 11 year. Assignment football is going to be a big thing this week.
Yeah, the thing, I'm not sure what they want to be. Like, they do some wing tee stuff, they do some option stuff. They've talked about in the paper that they want to throw the ball a little bit more, and that's kind of what happened against OJ. So
a little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything. So that does create some problems for us defensively. Our kids have to be on the ball. You have to play option responsibilities, and then wing tees a little bit of illusional football.
Ooh, okay, I like that.
and we feel fine in the passing game. We feel good about our being able to defense that. But it is you do have to be prepared.
All right, let's check out Boyertown on offense. They're at OJ here. It looks like.
This is traditionally what they'll do a lot of, like the double slot stuff, which allows you. Here they were doing like a little wing tee, but they throw the ball.
It almost like the quarterback was going to take a knee or something there, Coach. Like,
I don't know.
Okay, I'm just telling you. I'm giving you my outside opinion here.
Well, I don't know.
All right, here we
have
go.
to look at that again. We don't have the instant replay up. So
right. I'll tell Coach Mick to check that out again.
So there they show a little stack look, and this is more kind of like wing tee-ish belly stuff, ISO stuff, and
Breaks
nice
a couple tackles, yeah.
Yeah.
It's different how they line up as in the backfield too. The running back, it's almost like a.
Well, that's a T look.
Okay, that's how you kind of line up as in a T. Gotcha. Okay,
yeah,
see,
a little bit.
Learning so much here today. Here's their option.
Now here
right?
they're running option out of that T look and option to the short side of the field, back to the tight end. Again, that's kind of it's almost like a broken T where there's really a fullback right there, and
the idea of putting the two receivers so out wide is just to take those guys out of the play.
Right, exactly. Yep. Draw them out as much as they can.
Because they're all the way out into the boundary.
Yeah. And now here they are in that double slot look that they like, and they run like little wing T stuff, spread it out a little bit, and then make a nice cut or two there and get into the end zone. So OJ got up on them big, or I shouldn't say big, but quickly. Mm-hmm. And so I'm not sure if that took them out of some of the things that they wanted to do or not.
Okay.
But we're going to have to be conscious of some wing T things, some option things, and like I said, they feel like they want to throw a little bit more.
And I think once again, we talked a little bit like that sense of we got to come out with that sense of urgency. I think too, you can't.
I hope that our kids, I know kids tend to look at scores and think, okay, but OJ's a pretty good team, and so we're going to have to be, our goal and our goal always is to get better and eliminate the mistakes of the prior week. So. We definitely have things to work on, and I think that should be our focus. And if we do those things, we'll be fine.
All right, what are you going to see from Boyertown defensively?
Well, they're like a 4-2-5 team. They do a couple things very differently than PV. They're an even front team. They like to keep the 6 in the box pretty consistent, although they do offset their linebackers a little bit, and they'll drop the other safety down into the box as a third linebacker. So. Depending on formation, they'll have 7 guys in the box a lot. One thing that they're doing is they're really bringing their corners up and playing press coverage, and so that takes away. They're trying to take away some of that short passing game, and so we'll see what we can do with that on Friday.
Okay, let's take a look at Boardtown on defense.
All right, so when they're in trips, they'll kind of offset. They'll have almost a true Mike linebacker, and then you see that safety 34 there
yep,
dropping down in the box a little bit. So he's kind of taking away the split side passing game because it's almost like a double coverage.
Bubble, right? Yeah, right.
Snag there, yeah.
Okay.
You see again now they bring the other linebacker up on the ball.
Unaccounted for there and comes right through.
Right. They do like to blitz 18 quite a bit. I think we counted 14 or 16 times throughout the night. So again, inside the 10-yard line, kind of the red zone stuff. Again, guy knifes through and makes a play. So here in the middle of the field, it's a little bit different. They're going to play even front. You see up at the top that safety. I'm not sure that's the stance they go with there, but you see 18 coming again, and he was pretty active there in the middle of the field, and again blitzed probably 16 times or so most of the time to the A gap. So trying to put pressure on the center.
All right, Coach. Well, good stuff there. Show number 2 in the books. All good with the show here? You felt good about it?
Yeah, I think the thing is, it's just like our games. Like we want to get to the next show. That's our goal. So
yeah, let's get to the next show.
Let's get to the next show. So we've got 2 under our belt. We're the number 1 rated football show in RCTV history.
Maybe the number 1 show in RCTV, possibly.
And so, I don't want to. I want to be like Donnie on the big ticket.
Right. Yeah, I want to be like that. I want to say that. But,
so ultimately, we just want to try to get to the next show, and I think it's really important. I said to the kids afterwards, it was an emotional night for me. My son got his first start for his high school team at quarterback, and they were able to win their game. And part of me felt a little guilty about that. Now I couldn't have gotten a ticket anyway unless I used some of my inside the Football Network cards.
Yeah, I got what you're saying.
But it was an emotional night for me just to get these seniors a game under their belt. Missing my son's game, but I did watch it all on YouTube. They had it all streamed, so I watched all that. And
well, congrats to Gannon for that.
Yeah.
I remember Gannon running around the sidelines as a ball boy, multiple years ago.
Crazy, isn't it?
Shows we're getting old.
Don't blink.
We're getting old, right?
Don't blink, yeah.
Okay. All right, Coach. Well, best of luck to you and the crew on Friday night.
Thank you.
Make sure you tune in next week as we recap the game with Boardtown for the head coach, Chad Brubaker. I'm John Brennan. See you next time on the Gridiron.